Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Excalibur Roundtable Tech Talk. I am Mike Fuson. We're continuing our exploration and deep dive into enterprise service management. And in our last episode, we talked a little bit about wanting and needing, really requiring your platform to have a rich and full-featured REST API capability. But one of the other questions when you start thinking about API transactions is, what do those transactions cost you? And there's an interesting little tidbit here. For many systems, there are a limited number of transactions you can process in a month, and there may be additional cost. For many systems that we've attempted to integrate with, the API on the other side is lacking, so that there's a cost to have the API extended in order to provide a full integration. These are factors that you need to consider in your costs as you look to do your integrations. We hear also often, oh yes, we can integrate with this, that, or the other thing. And that's fantastic. And then somebody has a unique system, something maybe we haven't seen before, or maybe they have an older system. Sometimes there's not an API there to integrate with. And that's not the end of the world, but we may end up having to use some sort of intermediary platform in order to provide that integration. So something that's known as integration as a service may be something that we would need to leverage. However, that integration as a service platform may charge by the API transaction. So these are factors that you need to consider when you're looking at your integrations and you're looking at the tools you're going to use to integrate with, is what are the true costs to providing that integration. When you're charged by the API transaction, or maybe you're limited to a certain number of API transactions per month and then you pay for transactions beyond that, there could be a serious cost there. We have certain integrations that are passing data constantly throughout the day, or leveraging a webhook to constantly query the API. Now, that obviously can get very costly very quick if you're not careful. And it's something that we've seen as everybody rushed to work from home last year, and a lot of organizations pushed many systems to the cloud, thinking, hey, if we put it out in the cloud, it'll make it easier for folks that are working from home to communicate or to connect to these systems. One of the factors that hadn't been considered is that you pay for every little bit of things that happen in a cloud architecture. You know, things like processor time and memory and bandwidth, and all of a sudden people had some pretty scary bills that they were dealing with because they hadn't factored these items in. So our word of caution is look at what those costs may be. Now, we're very proud of the platforms that we work with, and they have no costs per API transaction. However, we do have those rare occasions where the system we're trying to communicate with on the other end does not have a meaningful API or has a very limited way to integrate with it, and we need to use an integration as a service partner, in which case we need to understand what our transaction volume is going to be, to understand what those costs are going to be from that integration as a service provider. Stay tuned as we continue to explore many of the things that you may want to consider or that you want to look for in an enterprise service management platform.